Welcome to Behavioral Grooves. My name is Kurt Nelson.
And I'm Tim Houlihan. And this is the podcast where we explore reasons for why we do what we do.
And the behavioral science behind those reasons and how you as listeners can apply those to your work and life.
Yeah, that's an important part of it, the work and life thing.
Right. And Tim, I just have to say, you are the best co-host that I could have ever hoped for. You are just witty, you're bright, you bring poignant, great pieces of information to our conversations. I am just so lucky to have you as my co-host.
You're complimenting me, right?
This is a compliment. I mean, not only are you just witty and smart, but damn good looking too, man.
Are you doing this because we're talking about Bob Cialdini's principle of liking today?
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are.
Yes, and so Bob Cialdini's principle of liking basically states that we prefer to say yes to those people that we like, that we have something going on that we feel an affinity towards.
Right. And there's three primary areas, right, that make up liking. Is that right, Kurt?
Yeah, Cialdini talks about three different things. He talks to the point that we like people who are similar to us.
Right. So we want to do business with, we want to have relationships with people that are similar in skin tone and intelligence and vocabulary and religion and all kinds of things. Like that,
and
right?
You can go back and kind of look at evolutionary psychology and the tribe, right, and various different facets. But It can also be about interests. It can also be about the sports team that we like. Hey, we are both Timberwolves fans. Well, at least I am. Maybe you're not. But, I like other Timberwolves fans. I'm not so big on,
Golden State fans?
I like Golden State too. Yeah, but anyway, you see where we're going with that. The other thing is that we like people who pay us compliments.
Oh, so this is where this comes up, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Does authenticity get in here at all?
Well, yes. And so, as we've talked about many times in other episodes, we have a real good BS detector, and that's not behavioral science. That's the other BS.
Yeah.
And so when people are inauthentic, that shows through. People, if you show pictures of people, some with our pictures of people with real smiles versus that same person with a fake smile, people within seconds, actually milliseconds, can spot that fake smile.
Right.
We know inauthentic when it comes. So, everything outside of the good-looking part was really authentic.
Okay. What? Let's just keep moving. What's the third point?
People like people who help them or cooperate with them to achieve mutual goals. So if you're helping me and I'm helping you, we tend to like each other more, right? That mutual component of working together is a powerful thing.
Yeah, so there was a great study on negotiations that kind of gets to this. It wasn't there?
Yeah, so there was a study that they used MBA students, of course, right? And they had these students negotiate with each other. And in one of the experiment components that they had, they said, hey, time is money, just get it down, start negotiating, go work at it really, really hard. And in that situation, 55% of the two people came to an agreement that was mutually beneficial for them. So 55%, more than half. Not bad, right?
Yeah, we'll take it.
In the other situation, though, they told people, hey, take a few minutes up front to get to know that person. Find something that you have that's similar. And so, again, trying to find some of those areas of similarity. And when that happened, in that group, 90% of them were able to come to an agreement. And that agreement was 18% more beneficial to both parties.
Both parties. That's the big kicker for me, is that it's one thing to reach consensus and to agree, but the actual results were better for both parties when they were cooperative.
Right.
Which sheds some light on the way negotiations are being done in the world today, or could be done in the world today.
Right. As opposed to getting in and just focusing in on the facts. Let's get to know the people. And think about that in everyday life. We are always, maybe not negotiating, but we are always trying to work with other people. And oftentimes we get stuck on the objective and the task at hand, as opposed to taking a few minutes to say, hey, let me find out a little bit about this person. And by so doing that, you tend to like that person more, right? You tend to agree with that person, and you're more likely to come to some mutually positive agreement for both of you.
There's also a side part of liking that isn't addressed sort of square on, but it has to do with like this halo effect about physical attractiveness.
Yes.
And I think it's really interesting that when we think about how we're attracted to stars, celebrities, that their looks, their appearance is really important to us as a society. And it's even gotten so far as to how certain jobs have been hired for, right?
Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry in the 80s and 90s started to hire a bunch of homecoming kings and queens, right? Those attractive high schoolers that we all loved.
They're all beautiful.
They're all beautiful, and so that was probably not specifically based upon Cialdini's work, but it was this component that they realized, accidentally probably, that these people were better at selling. The doctors found them attractive, and they spent more time with them. They liked them, and so they were listening to their message more and being more persuaded by those messages. And that comes across in all sorts of advertising. You don't see much advertising with really ugly people, right? They are mostly attractive, and that's by default because, hey, we like those people. We strive to be like them, and we have that component going on.
Yeah, there was a study that a bank did a few years ago where they put photographs of people that they said this is. They sent a note to their customers and said, "Here's a photograph of the person that's going to be your on-the-phone banker." And really, an on-the-phone banker, their looks shouldn't matter a bit, but they used a variety of different images, and they found that the most attractive people who were the most similar were the ones that the customers found the most valuable and did the most business with. When they were not attractive, when the customer service person or the picture wasn't attractive, and they were dislike the person that they were sending to, the customer, their business went down.
Well, you talk about that similarity, and think about this from the evolutionary component of this, right? We were tribal in nature, and so the people in our tribes tended to look like us. They had similar features, similar hair colors, similar eye colors, typically. Not always, but typically. And so we tend to have more trust for those people. We tend to like those people. It's one of the really sad things about some of the stereotypes and biases that are going on in today is there's some evolutionary component to that, which in reality shouldn't make a difference. Just like the attractiveness and similarity of the person picture on the phone in a call center for a bank shouldn't make any difference of how well that person's ability to do their job is.
But the fact is, it does make a difference to us.
Right.
Whether or not we think that it should from a societal perspective.
Right. So, Tim, what are some things that we can take away from this? What are some of the things that listeners can take from this to say, hey, how do I apply this to work and life moving forward?
So Cialdini wrote these from the perspective of influence, right, and persuasion. So if you're going into a meeting, and as much as we would do this intuitively, it's nice to pay the person that you're meeting a compliment. It's nice to actually dress in a similar manner. Give them a reason don't give them a reason to say no, basically, based on the way that you look and your appearance and the words that you use. And of course, be cooperative. We love people who cooperate with us to achieve mutual ends.
Now, we also have to make sure that, again, we're authentic in this, and that the compliments...
Oh, yeah, this gets back to the compliment thing, doesn't it?
We get back to those compliments, and the compliments can't be seen as BS.
Because we'll detect it.
You'll detect it, and that actually has a big backfire effect and really is different. Even to the point, like you said, dressing similar to somebody, if that is inauthentic for you, don't dress similar to somebody, because they will see through that, and that then is a negative connotation. If you normally dress in a suit, dress in a suit. If you normally dress in jeans and a thing, unless it's absolutely not appropriate, dress in jeans and a t-shirt, right? That authenticity comes through. But with that, understand that, hey, compliments, authentic compliments can be really nice, and just take some time take some time to get to know that person and find some things that are similar. What sports do you like? What activities do you like to do? What's your family like? Hey, you know what? We all have, some aspect within our history that we can probably find something, just something that is similar. And with that,
thanks for hanging out with us, listeners.